Welcome to the Scruffy Ginger Podcast. I'm your Scruffy Ginger and your host, Matt Graves. This has been such a long time coming. I've wanted to start a podcast for years and went back and forth as to what I wanted to talk about, different topics that of interest to me. I just went back and I thought about things that I've said over the past about, what I would do for free. And I came to my conclusion. This podcast is going to be your Titans podcast. Everything Titans, past, present, future, where we want to go. We're going to talk about a lot going on. And, at the beginning of the podcast, we'll probably talk about a couple blurbs here and there about current events, just things going on that affect the NFL, the Titans, the division. It's going to be all-inclusive, so I'm so happy that you guys are listening. I'm looking forward to bringing you along on this journey. This is my first podcast recording ever, so it's going to be rough. That's all right. It's the first time. I'll get better. The audio, we have a visual that is only being recorded right now for archive purposes. Video will not be released for probably several podcasts from now, mainly just because I want to make sure the quality is good. But like I said, these will be released in a vault series, if you might call it that, later on down the road. Now, why did I choose the Titans? Because it's my fucking passion. Literally every single day, I probably think about the Titans at least 2 or 3 times in great detail. So, everyone that knows me knows that it's an unhealthy obsession, and I don't care. I don't care because it gets me going, it gets me fired up, and maybe, just maybe, this podcast is going to be just the development and the kind of just final, what the hell am I trying to say? Cheers. Oh, we drink coffee on the podcast. If it's in the morning, if it's in the night, we drink some beer. Why? Because we like to have fun. So, where do we start with this podcast? We are going to start with the 2018 season. Yes, we could have gone further back from that, but there's going to be episodes that will dive into those games and seasons that kind of projects and shows how we got to where we are. Let's talk about with the 2018 season first. We started with quite possibly the most frustrating and agonizing game possible. We fly down to the fucking hot as hell Miami, which is fine. People have to do it. You'll see what I mean here in a second. Take a guess about how long that game was. If you're saying 3 hours, 3.5, I mean, the games are on a time clock, so it couldn't have lasted that long. 7.5 fucking hours. How did that happen? Because Florida decided to get a couple hurricanes here and there. Now, I get it. I'm not mad. I know a lot of people were scared and not making fun, but very inconvenient for the game. So, if you're down in the Miami heat for that long and you're not from Miami, like the Dolphins are, you're going to lose. There's no way around it. They know how to handle that heat. They practice in it every single day. We do not. We went back and forth from the locker room because the sirens were going off, and it just kills the vibe. Not only that, we lost 2 of our best players. Delaney Walker, tight end, who. Listen, I'm going to get on Delaney Walker kick for a second. There's a lot of people out there that are doubting him constantly, and he constantly overcomes those doubters. Last year he did go down with that leg injury. Did he tear his ACL? I think he just broke his leg. Anyway, it's a leg injury, out for the season, devastating. Top 3 tight end in the league, in my opinion. Now that Gronk's out of the league, you could argue he's probably top 2 when healthy. And that's not a shot at him. Just last season, he got hurt. I listened to an interview recently of him. He hasn't gotten injured, if I remember, like almost his entire career. I'm sure I'm wrong about that, but I heard something along those lines where maybe it wasn't just a major injury. Anyway, he goes down pretty early in the game, early enough to where you're like, shit, this is not going to turn out well for us. So anyways, he goes down, out for the season. Our other captain, our leader, Marcus Mariota, goes down with an elbow injury that is, I guess later we found out, was pinching his nerves, and so he couldn't actually grip the football on his throwing hand. Yeah. You could say that's not ideal for the quarterback situation. So, we lost 2 of our players. And I feel like someone else went down too. Did Conklin go down in that game? God. I feel like we missed one other person. Because I remember talking about losing like 3 players. Anyways, that game is not the way you want to start a football season. So, but you know what? We came back. Well, let's see. We started in Miami. We'll talk about just kind of the highlights. We're not going to go through every single game. We lost Miami 20-27, a 1-point score. Let's just keep that in mind. Beat the Texans in week 2. Jags, week 3. We got your number. I hate the Jags. I hate the Jags more than, well, pretty much anybody probably in the country. Why do I do that? Because people forget that the Titans and the Jags were 2 of the top teams in the NFL in the early 2000s, and they were battling it out each season for the AFC title. So that's why I hate the fucking Jags. Jags, if you're listening, you can go sit on a pine cone for all I care. All right. Jags suck. Beat the Jags, obviously. Not a pretty game. 9-6. Lots of field goals. Only field goals. But we did what we had to do. And we took care of business. So there's that. Now, week 4. Quite possibly what you would hope to be the catalyst of a season. The game that gets everybody fired up. You go and beat the reigning Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to take a coffee break for a second. Sip, sip. Now, that was a grueling battle. I mean, we're going back and forth the entire game. Overtime. I'm not going to get all the details, but who can forget Corey Davis coming across the center, coming, I believe it was right to left in the end zone. Was it Mariota? Fuck. He wasn't out for the season. Anyways, he comes across the middle, hit him in the back of the end zone. Game over. Touchdown. Let's talk about that for a second. Corey Davis. That, I think, was a defining moment for him for the rest of the season. It gave him the confidence. It gave him just the ability to realize that he just won the game for his team. Yes, there's a lot of playing parts, but he made the catch. If he missed that catch, I mean, you could argue the Eagles went down, kick a field goal, game over. So he won the game for us that week. Moving on, the next week, dear fucking Lord. We go to Buffalo. Now, not everything bad happened that day. I actually have a couple buddies of mine that actually were proposed to let's rephrase that. They were not proposed to. Spencer proposed to Mary Alice. Two buddies of mine, great people, great Titans fans, obviously traveling from Chattanooga all the way up to Buffalo. So that was probably the only good thing that happened that day because, again, we lost 12-13. Losing by 1 to Buffalo, I mean, we should have grabbed them by the throat and just owned them the entire time. But that's how it goes sometimes. We lost to Buffalo. We got shut out by the Ravens in week 6. And we went to London to play the Chargers. We honestly, I mean, listen. Sip, sip. We honestly had that game. If you watch that game, yes, the score was close, but the performance, you just can't argue the fact that we were dominating the game. They had a couple plays here and there that, set them apart, got them the scores. That's how it goes sometimes. You don't have to have the flashiest game to be in it. So, the Chargers, we're down 19-20. It's 4th down, 4th and goal with seconds left. Single digit seconds, if I remember correctly. And we were dominating. We knew that we could win that game. I believe, if I remember, they started to get kind of hot towards the end. So, listen, was it the right call? We could have kicked the field goal to go to overtime. Oh, shit. I messed it all up. No. We scored, and we went for the 2-point conversion to win the game. God damn it. Yeah, so 2-point conversion fails. Now it's 19-20. God. Okay, so you could argue going 20-20 to overtime. Was that the right decision? I mean, it's one of those things where if the coach makes that decision, he's the smartest guy in the NFL. Like, if he converts the 2-point conversion, he's the best coach in the NFL. If he doesn't, he's the worst. So, listen, we did what we did, and we came up short. And sometimes, that happens. But, like I said, in that game, I like the confidence that Vrabel had in our team. I think that was smart. It showed a backbone, something that the Titans fans, if you're Titans fans, you know this. You are not used to a confident coach. Now, they were confident in their own abilities, but it didn't always translate onto the field. I mean, it just seemed like Malarkey would punt 4th and 1s all the time. And listen, that's some coaches' styles. I don't want them to go for it every single time. It's not fucking Madden, the game. You can't just convert every single time. That being said, every once in a while, if you're in the opposing team's territory, take a fucking shot. Like, the worst case scenario, you give the other team not the best field position, and they have to come down and believe in your defense. So, anyways, it is what it is. I like the call. I don't like the outcome, but I like that we went for it. At this point, we are 3-4 going into the bye week. Fair. Now, the Cowboys game is interesting because I was there. Me and my buddy Jimmy, we flew out to Austin, had a good time, had a couple of good nights out there, and then we drove down to Dallas, and dear Lord, I thought all the bad juju was coming at us because, well, first of all, you have to drive through Waco to get to Dallas if you're coming from Austin. And Waco, I don't know what's going on with that city right now. I mean, everyone talks about it. I get it. Chip and Joanne Gaines, the fucking silos. I'm sure it's great. I'm sure that I had a one-off bad experience. If I'm invited back or if I just choose to go back, I'm sure I will take the invitation, and I hope it proves me wrong. But your highway system sucks. One, because everything is under construction. But two, Maps doesn't, or I don't know what it was, like Maps updated for like the future results of the construction. So you'd be driving around the interstate and it'd say, hey, take the exit here in a mile, and that exit doesn't exist. So we're driving around just trying to find a good like barbecue joint and can't find it. We get so frustrated, we just leave. We drive till we just can find the next nearest town. I'm thinking, shit, this is it. We flew out here for nothing. We're going to see an annihilation. The Cowboys are just going to own us. Then we get to Dallas and sip. We get to Dallas. We can see the stadium. We can see the hotel that we're staying at. We come up to a very, very congested and busy intersection. But we're front in line. We're first in line at the traffic light. And all of a sudden, we're in the back seat. We're actually on our way to get some gas. Just to fill up after a long trip. All of a sudden, I hear Jimmy's dad in the front make a comment saying something to the effect of, I don't know if, you know what? I don't even know if something was said. All I know is that it was like, he goes, oh, the gas, warning light came on. And we were like, oh, good, because we got the thing right there. All of a sudden, we just kind of feel the thing, the van kind of shut down a little bit. And we're like, what's going on? And I guess Jimmy's dad is like trying to figure out what's happening. He's like, maybe that light was on for more than I had anticipated or thought or saw. And all of a sudden, the car ran out of gas. We are like 100 feet from the gas station. And it's just not looking good at this point. So it's like, it's on. The adrenaline is running through our bodies. Nothing is even said. It was just his dad was just like, push! And so me and Jimmy ran out of the car. I don't know, you can't actually run out of the car, but that day we ran out of the car. And it was just like high school, man. Living in the days, the good old days. I wouldn't say the good old days. We'll just say the olden days. Football, you're coming up, trying to square up someone's pads. We got a 5-foot running start to this van, and we just kept driving our feet. We started pushing this thing. I run out to the middle of the intersection. Again, it's a 4-way, super busy intersection, trying to stop traffic, and do my part, run back behind, start pumping the feet, grinding, and we start going downhill, and now we're sprinting, and it's the car is going to carry itself at this point, but why waste an opportunity to look badass in front of everybody else? So you keep going with it. You start sprinting, and anyways, we got gas, but it's just constantly thinking, this isn't good. We need some good things to happen to us going into this game. The girl I was talking to at the time, first, let me back up. We get to the stadium. All of a sudden, we start hearing, tighten up, everywhere. I'll get to that in a second. But we get to the stadium. The stadium, impressive. Jerry World, that is a stadium that is hard to beat. If you haven't been there, you need to go. It's a spectacle. It is so, impressive. So anyways, we get there. We're trying to find our section. We see our section. Again, talk about the bad juju. But apparently, it wasn't super clear what gate you needed to go through at least from our standpoint, and we've been to many games. So we just walked in. We come in at one of the corners of the stadium, and to get to the opposite corner, we have to go up. We're on the concourse level. We have to go up to floor 4, walk around the opposite side of the stadium, and then go down all the stairs to our section. So if I had any beef about the stadium, that would be it. I mean, the layout was crazy. I mean, the reason why we couldn't go just naturally around was because it was blocked off for some VIP section, I guess. I'm not sure, but anyways, we had to go up and all the way around, and that's what the usher was telling us. Like we didn't just wander around. We were told to do that. So, oh yeah, and the girl that I was talking to at the time was just she sent me a text, and all I could see on the screen, I just read it real quick, was, "Hey Matt, I'm sorry." And that's all I read, and I was like, fuck, that's it. She ended things. We are going to get annihilated. This is not going to be pretty. So, she didn't. It was just, she started the sentence like that. So, but anyways, freaked me out. So, we get there. I mean, if you didn't watch the Monday Night Football game, then you should have. That was a performance that, you just don't see very often with the Titans. I mean, we took shots. We were just aggressive pretty much the entire game. And we won. And we won pretty handily. I mean, we won 28-14. That 14 points, I mean, they scored one touchdown in garbage time with 4 minutes left. Or not even that. It was less. I mean, it was we annihilated them. They had no chance. We stopped Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, Dak was on his ass for a lot of the game, naturally, when you got someone like Jarrell Casey coming up the middle. So Dallas, that's just how the game went. We dominated. It was the best feeling ever. So man, I'm spending a lot more time on these games than I thought I would. Let's just kind of go through the highlights. Beat the Patriots next week at home, 34-10, complete annihilation. I mean, again, the aggressive performance, the dominance, Tom Brady on his ass. I mean, something about that game. I mean, I've talked to some Patriots fans. Now, of course, they're making all the fucking excuses in the world because they just can't accept losing to the Titans. So everything has to be an excuse. We dominated, and their response was something with Tom was off. I don't know what it was, but something was off. Yeah, something was off. He was just having an off game. Maybe he underestimated a top 6 defense. Probably not. Maybe he did though. So he's throwing it into the ground. He's throwing it short on routes, not even at their knees, it hits the ground. As people are coming up the middle. Just simple hitch routes. He's hitting them at their feet, and they drop it, obviously. It's we'll take it. That's a big win for us. It's a big confidence booster for Vrabel. I mean, going up against Belichick, his old coach. Yeah, that was something really special to see. Then we got the Colts. Dude, what is it now? Is it 12-0? 13-0? Man, the Colts have had our number for so long. I mean, Andrew Luck has never lost to us. I thought this would be the year, but no. I mean, 38-10, we lost to the Colts. It's just, I don't even want to talk about it. I mean, I hate the Colts, but not nearly as much as the Jags, even though I probably should hate the Colts more. I don't know what it is. I can't stand them. But the Colts, man, Andrew Luck, we've never beat them. You hope and pray that we're going to beat them this year. I mean, we beat the Colts last year, 2 years ago, but it was Jacoby Brissett was quarterback, so people are saying it doesn't count. So, and I don't, you know what, I know it counts. We beat the team, but we haven't beaten Luck. So in my mind, we still have that mountain to overcome. Lost to the Texans next week on Thursday night, in front of the country. Their owner just died the week, that week. That was a rally game. That was a trap game. I mean, you're going to come out and, come out swinging for your owner who has just passed is what it is. That was a trap game. I mean, is there anything else you can say about that? No. Jets, closer than I would have liked, came out with the win. Week 14. Jacksonville Jaguars. I know we've already been over this. The Jags could go sit on a traffic cone if they really wanted to. And dear Lord, I want them to. That being said, Thursday Night Football coming at you again. Derrick fucking Henry. That's right. Listen, he had the game of his life. We're talking like, I should have had the stats in front of me. Let's see. Rushing yards, 264 rushing yards. Deion Lewis did not play a ton of that game. I mean, Derrick had he had 4 touchdowns? 4 touchdowns. Could have had a 5th, but he let Deion get in the game late and, have a moment for himself, give him some time to shine. So that speaks a lot to Derrick Henry's character. But, I mean, the play that we all know now as one of the best plays in the entire NFL for the 2018 season, Derrick fucking Henry taking it 99 yards. And it's not just like he, broke free from the line, found some space in the linebackers, and just like the DBs just like broke the wrong way at the beginning of the play. No. He ran through the line, got caught up in the line of scrimmage, and then fucking had a stiff arm. What? It was three total people. Comes past, passes the linebackers, stiff arms the guy, and then literally grabs someone by the face mask, not the face mask, but the helmet. Grabs him, throws him down. I may have gotten that wrong. He stiff arms him, throws him down, keeps going, doesn't lose any speed somehow throughout all of this, and then punches the guy again, with his with a stiff arm, and it just goes. He just keeps going. I mean, you talk about a play that's going to energize the fans, the fan base, the players, the coaches. That was it. I mean, tied longest run in NFL history? You can't beat that. And all the better happened against the Jags. So I was pretty happy. I was in the middle of a bar. Listen, it's a bar that I frequent here in town, and it turns into a club on some nights. Part of the club, and so people are dancing. I'm like one of the few people watching this game, in my Titans gear, polo or whatever, and I'm just going nuts. I'm like screaming at the TV. I'm just like, because halfway through that run, you're like, oh, he's going to get pushed out of bounds. Like, he's going to get tackled. I mean, we've seen Derrick be a force to be reckoned with, but not like that. I mean, that's on beast mode level. So that was something super, super special. Week 15, shut out the Giants. Shut out Saquon. I mean, I'm looking at the stats right now. He had I said looking at the stats. These are for the Titans stats. But, Saquon just couldn't do anything. I mean, we just held him. He might have had 50, 60 yards, but obviously no scores. Just shut down Eli. It was something special. I mean, that was the first time we'd shut someone out since it's been a long time. I wish I had that stat in front of me, but I don't. But anyways, that was shut out the Giants. Everyone thought we would probably lose that game. Redskins again. People thought we would just, I don't know, with AP, Adrian Peterson on the coming at us. We just thought that, or people thought that it would they would just take us over. I don't know why they thought that, but we won pretty handily, 25-16. And that, that game marks a pretty special moment. I mean, we swept the NFC East. And like in fashion. I mean, overtime against the Eagles, handedly at the Cowboys Monday night. And then New York shut it out. And the Redskins, again, they had some garbage time points in there. So we're coming in not feeling great, but we know what we need to do in Week 17. And that's beat the Colts. And again, put in some perspective, whoever wins this game, the Colts are in the exact same situation we are. Whoever wins this game goes to the playoffs. So everything is riding on this game. And it wasn't a wild card. Like, whoever won this won the division. I mean, we probably would have played in the wild card game, but it was for the division winner. I mean, you can't. I mean, the news comes out early in the day that Mariota is out. Or maybe it wasn't early. Maybe it was coming right up close to game time, but he's ruled out, and you're just thinking to yourself, Blaine Gabbert is going to lead us to the playoffs? I mean, yeah, he won us some games, earlier in the year, and, against some opponents that you might say would be easy or not so easy to beat. That's fine, but this is the Colts. This is Andrew Luck. This is a team that we have yet to beat with Andrew Luck at the helm, and we're going to expect our backup to, come through for us. So I just, I didn't buy it. I wasn't able to watch the entirety of the game. I was up, doing skits at a camp that I've been involved with in the past, and somebody's asked me to do it, and that was awesome. It was a ton of fun. But we had an event going on because it was New Year's Eve was the game, or maybe it was the night before. But anyway, so yeah, I got to see some of it. We had some good things going, but I'm pretty sure Gabbert threw a couple interceptions. Got sacked a lot. I mean, the Colts just wanted it more than we did, it seemed like. They came out and they dominated 33-17. So, we didn't go to the playoffs. Heartbreaking. I mean, as a Titans fan, you just wanted to go. I mean, Derrick Henry, the last, was it four games, or maybe it was the last 6 games? He had 600 yards in a rushing. Something crazy like that. I mean, maybe that's not right. It was definitely 6 touchdowns. I mean, so you look at that and you're like, man, we had so much momentum. All we had to do was get to the playoffs. We just had to get there. We had to give Marcus time to heal. We had to get some players back, and we could have shook some things up. I mean, people were saying if we made the playoffs, you don't want to play the Titans. Analysts were saying it. Everyone knew it. I mean, Derrick Henry's on fire. On fire. He had all the confidence in the world. So, but that's, you got to, have a check-in with reality. And that's just not what happened. So we came up short, is what it is. And we, needed to, you hate to say that it was good for us, but Vrabel's first year, head coach, 9-7 win, record, second in the AFC South. It could have been worse. Now, you don't want to live in that mindset, but it is what it is. You move on to next season, and, you just play better. You acquire players in the free agency. You look at the draft, which is all that stuff we're going to do in future episodes that kind of break down all of those things in further detail. But for now, that's the 2018 season. That's where we were. That's how I wanted to start this podcast, is talk about where we were. And from now on, it's where we are and where we're going. No more living in the past unless we're just referencing things, but we're not going to spend time on games, breakdown of games or certain plays necessarily in the 2018 season. Again, might be referenced, but we're going to talk about where we are now and moving forward. So if you're still listening at this point, thank you. Thank you so much. I just don't. I know that in the beginning, it's going to be difficult to acquire listeners. It's going to be difficult to acquire a diehard fan base. I get that. I'm learning. They're going to get better. We're going to do a lot more interviews, kind of setups and all that once I can, put some more funds towards the podcast. Right now, I got some things I have to take care of financially, but once all that gets taken care of, we're going to go full speed with this thing. I'd like to do at least 2 a week, but definitely 1 a week, and they'll be released typically on Mondays. I try to get all the recording done on during the weekend and try to have it all posted, ready to go on Monday for you guys. So again, thank you for listening. The Jags suck. They're always going to suck. And yeah, if you want to order them like 53 pine cones and just ship them off to Jacksonville with a small little note that just says, hey, go and sit on it, I'm not going to be mad. For now, good morning, good afternoon, or good night, whenever you are listening. I'm glad you're here. Looking forward to bringing you some content in the future, Titans content. And yeah, that's where we're at. Peace.